I'm doing a different kind of video where I'm going to criticize some of the other Halloween channels. Now, whenever you do a video like this, you have people who will accuse, if you're a smaller channel, that person of using these other people's names to get views, or you're jealous of them, or you're trying to sabotage and discourage people from supporting them. And none of this is true. So that's why I'm not going to have any of their names either mentioned by me or in the title. And if anyone in the comment section says their names or tries to make guesses as to who I'm talking about, I'm just going to warn you, your comment's automatically gone. Because I'm not going to let these people have an easy way of dodging valid criticisms of the stuff they do to get views and to get attention for themselves. I guess we can start things off by talking about this one movie reviewer. And to be fair, most of these guys talk about other stuff, but there's one in particular who, for a very long time, I found him to be very lazy and repetitive. And what I mean by that is, just to give you an example, let's say they canceled Young Justice a few days ago. Let's say I wanted to review the last season of Young Justice, and I do an episode by episode review. It was like 26 episodes, so that's 26 videos, right? And there are people who review shows episode by episode. That's not an issue. But after I do these episode by episode reviews, where I go into detail about what I liked, what I disliked, then I make a full season review where, as you can speculate, I pretty much say the exact same things that I said in my singular episode reviews, except abridged or, shorter or condensed, whatever. And you go, okay, whatever. He repeated a little bit, but it's still not that much repetition. But then after I do that, I make an episode ranking where I rank all of the episodes in terms of which I like the most and which I like the least. And when I give my rationale, it's a repeat of what I said in my season review and in my singular episode reviews. So by the time you've sat through and watched all these episode reviews, the season review, and the episode rankings, you've heard me give the exact same or nearly the exact same opinion on the same set of episodes 3 times. And this guy really is the ranking king. I mean, every time there's a movie series and they make a new one, even if he's done a ranking before, he'll make an entire new video with the ranking adding in one new film. So for example, you had Thor Love and Thunder come out, was that last month? He makes a video in 2017 ranking the Thor trilogy, right? And then he makes a new video ranking the Thor film series with Love and Thunder added. So this ranking is the exact same because his opinion has not changed from a couple of years ago, but with one new movie added in. And he's done this with so many series that one time I accidentally clicked on his older ranking of a movie series and then realized while I was watching it, oh, this is the wrong one. Because there's like 2 or 3 different versions of each ranking since he does this every time there's a new movie. And look, I'm not against updating rankings. So for example, if I made a Spider-Man movie ranking in 2012, I could completely understand somebody doing a new one now because there's been, what, 4 different live action movies, technically 5 if you count, Into the Spider. So you get what I'm saying, that it would make sense to me because there's been a pretty big influx of content in that period. But every time there's one new movie in a series, a whole ranking video. And some people will say that this is not lazy because he's making the video from scratch and he's recording new footage. But it's basically an excuse to give the exact same opinions on the exact same films for the 3rd, 4th, or even 5th time. And the real reason he does this is because a lot of these people are creatively bankrupt, which means that usually if there's not a new movie or show to review, they're kind of starved for content. So a way for them to discuss something that they like without having to think too critically about it is to make these little rankings where it's, number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because they can never sit there and discuss something for too long without running out of things to say. And people love this stuff. They think it's good. But I think it's very lazy. I think it's very repetitive. And I've been a big advocate for making if you're gonna do a channel where you make videos like every day or every week, at the very least do something different. There's a person I talked to who said that when channels begin to do podcast or videos where they just sit around and talk to each other, that's when you know it's become lazier. So one of the reasons why I praise Dr. Wolfula, for example, again, I'm not saying anything nasty about him whatsoever, is that he actually, when he makes a video review, he has to get in his costume. He's got his intro, his outro. When he does the review, it's not just him talking, he's playing clips. And I think a lot of times when, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, and I've mentioned my disagreement with him before, there's still something respectable about the fact that you know he's really trying to create a video and put effort into it with all of his editing. Now, there's this one guy that has a complete seething hatred for this one Halloween movie. I'm not going to say which one it is. But this guy's hatred wasn't just because most people they make a movie review, right? A review of the movie and then that's it. This guy has made several videos where he talks about specific things he doesn't like about the movie. He's made at least two different videos, maybe three, where he watches the movie, which I've always considered those to be among the laziest streams you can do because it's literally just you sitting there staring into the void and then making a comment maybe every 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's basically a way of getting your subscribers to watch you stare at the screen and give like a little commentary here or there. But what really makes no sense to me is that I think of movies I don't like, right? Like, for example, I don't like Halloween Resurrection. I think it's one of the worst horror movies ever. And this type of stuff he'll say about that movie. And because I think it's one of the worst movies ever, because I genuinely don't enjoy watching it, I think it is borderline unwatchable. You haven't seen me do a commentary of it, let alone multiple commentaries like he has. You haven't seen me do multiple videos breaking down the parts of it that I don't like. I mean, I'm not joking. If you took all of this guy's material about this movie that he claims to hate, you're looking at maybe 8 or 9 hours worth of footage of just him complaining about this one movie every year. And it always drives me so crazy when I have people who say, "Oh, if you work harder, you'll get more views and you'll get more people to support you." But then I look at this guy's channel. He reviewed one movie that came out about 4 years ago, and to his credit, he did this edited video. He went through all the characters, the story. It was like an hour and something long. You know, to his credit, he put in this extreme amount of effort and detail. But then every single video on his channel is him sitting in his little chair with no editing, and his subscribers are completely fine with it. So why do I have to work very hard by writing a script and editing to get maybe 1,000 views when a lot of these people can just sit in their chair and talk about something and get 5,000, 10,000? He had one video with 70,000. I don't understand why I'm expected as a smaller person to perform an amount of effort that is atypical of the types of people who rise in this community, while they get to completely just sit back and barely do any editing, or if they do, it's jump cuts like we're doing here. I don't see how that's fair. And really, none of this stuff that they're getting criticized for is anything that's exclusive to them. Like, there are a lot of people that just do movie rankings or review the same movie over and over again. And that's what drives me crazy, that like I was always told if you want to make it on this website, you have to do something that other people are not doing. And when I go to their channels, I see the exact same stuff. Movie reviews, right? Watching this movie again with commentary over it. Um, and their stuff isn't particularly well edited. They don't really have that many things I would say are, unique tricks that only they can do. My favorite part about this first guy is that he had the nerve to say that Halloween should have only been one movie, right? Because there are some people who believe that. But then you look at his channel, and what's on there? Reviews of all the other movies in the series. And then his rationale was, I haven't met anyone that likes any of the sequels more than the first movie. So because he hasn't personally met someone that likes the films that come after the first one more than the first one, automatically they don't exist, and we can just throw all these movies away and nothing of any value would be lost. And it's like, think of how egotistical it is. Like, for example, I haven't met anyone who, talking about people in real life, who likes, I don't know, the other Nightmare on Elm Streets more than the first one or the third one. Should I say that the series should have ended at the third movie and that all the other sequels can go jump in a bridge? And while I'm saying this or advocating for this or stating that I'm fine with this, what do you see when you go on my channel? Reviews of all the different movies. That's like a running gag with those people that say that stuff. Notice how the people who tell you this should have been a one and done or this should have ended at this movie, they always find themselves making videos or leaving comments on videos about the sequels. So the same people who will tell you something should have ended at part 4 or part 1 will be watching until part 100 or part 40. Because it's just a stupid thing they say on the computer. They don't actually show any meaning behind what they state. For example, I said before that I think Scream 5 was horrible, one of the worst horror movies of the century. And for that reason, regardless of what people say about 6, whether they think it's good, whether they think it's bad, I'm not going to watch it anyway. And not only am I not going to watch it, you're not going to see me leave any comments on any videos about it. Because I have no desire to give air to something that I don't think deserves it. I'll put it that way. That's why you see no Scream 5 movie review. That's why you don't see me talking about this film other than like little brief passages. But these people will say that something is not good or something is bad. And it's like they never can walk away from it. There's another channel where there's these two guys who sit together and talk about films, and they're a little bit different because they have some skits here and there, but I don't know. I guess I look at it like this. If there's a channel where it's two people just sitting down discussing something and they can get millions of views, and they don't get millions of views, they get, several thousands. Don't sit here and tell me that if me and my sibling do a video together, I should be content with only getting 2,000 views or 3,000. Because, again, look at these people. And we know the real reason that they get more views because they have a larger subscriber count. So more people know to go to them than to go to yours truly. But it still sucks. Like I said, you watch people who put in the same amount of effort, or in some cases even less, and they get more attention regardless because they have a built-in audience who is going to suck them off and like anything they release. There's another channel where there's an individual who will... It's so hard to discuss this person without making it obvious who we're talking about, but this guy takes horror movies, plays a bunch of clips, gives a plot summary, and then counts down the number of victims and breaks it down by gender. And then says which kill he liked the most or which kill he liked the least. And I find a video like that, and I know they get millions of views, but I don't care. I find it extremely lazy because, in effect, all he's doing is breaking down a plot summary of the movie, and then all the way at the end, adding in this objective thing about what gender of people were killed the most or died the least. And I can't look at videos like that where it's a guy standing in front of a green screen or wherever he stands before he gives a plot summary and then finally says something unique toward the end as being content that is so much better than anything we're doing here. Like I said, when I do a character analysis video, particularly the edited ones, unless it's me discussing it with my brother, I write a script. I edit the video to where you can't hear any stuttering. I mean, you know, we're not just sitting here watching a movie. We actually put thought into it. And I just think that's missing. I think a lot of people are so caught up on, oh, this slasher and body counts and all the rest of that stuff to where they just don't care about any meaningful things whatsoever with the type of entertainment they, you know, claim to enjoy. You know, it's so funny how, with the exception of the second channel, the other three are guilty of what I was talking about, where they don't really have the like attempt to make an in-depth discussion. Because at least with the second guy, as lazy as his stuff is, where it's all just a bunch of live streams, he actually has done what I would have done type videos, like I've done as well. So I'll give him, you know, some credit for that. Um, but the problem with all these people, with the exception of him, is that, and again, this goes back to like personal preferences. I've always felt that they're not good reviewers. I know that's blasphemous to say about someone who has thousands of subscribers and like their main thing is reviewing things, but the problem I have with them is when they talk about not liking something, and this is something a lot of people do online when they criticize stuff. They're not really clear on what the problem is with something. I think the number one purpose a reviewer has to suffice is to explain to people why they like or dislike something. So if I tell you the characters in this movie are boring, how? The characters in this movie are annoying, how? I mean, I'm not joking. So many of these reviews, they will make a point that shows you whether they like or dislike something, but there's not much really there to explain it. They use these like nebulous words. And to be fair, this is something a lot of commenters do as well. So I'm not trying to say that this is like a unique flaw of their videos. This is just a flaw that people have in general, but it's still something that, when I gave the example of Dr. Wolfula, even if I don't agree with him on everything, and I most certainly don't, he can explain things. He can say things to where when I finish watching one of his videos, I understand him. And I don't feel that way with a lot of these people. I think they just use these vague terms, boring, too long, and there's not much of an expansion. And it sucks because YouTube has made videos as long as they are for the purpose of allowing for people to explain why they like or dislike something. You know, they can make a review that's 5 minutes long, a review that's 50 minutes long, and they still don't really tell you why they like or dislike something without these superficial phrases that are not that intricate. And I'm not joking. People on YouTube that don't make videos, when they start giving their advice and trying to tell you what you should have done differently or whatever that no one asked for, they act like I have superpowers, like I can do something that they can't, because anyone can turn a camera on, make a video, and then say something you either agree or disagree with. But the number one problem with them is like the pretending that I have some kind of special powers. And the number one problem with the people that they subscribe to and support and give all this attention to, is that I don't think they're very clear, and I think a lot of the content they make is very redundant. And I just don't find them to be that much better than a lot of the people who get no recognition on this site, such as yours truly. You know, a lot of times when you criticize channels that are bigger than you, as I mentioned earlier, people will say that you're, using their name to get subs, etc., trying to get attention for yourself, blah, 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 blah. And I have to admit, I think I'm a fairly honest person. And I'll be the first one to disclose the fact that I do have resentment toward this site. And specifically, I have resentment toward the idea that I can watch all of these different channels where some people like this movie, some people like that movie, etc., etc. And I can edit my videos as much as they do. I can upload just as frequently as them. I can even, in some cases, get more views than them. But because I didn't have 1,000 people click a little red button, I'm the only one that doesn't get paid to make content relating to horror movies. And I just don't see where that's fair. I don't think it's right for a person with 1,000 subs who gets 5 views to get paid, but someone who only has 100, but let's say gets 3,000 or 10,000 to not get paid. I don't get what's right about that. Um, and I said before that like the one area where I'm constantly satisfied is usually with the views. Like people are watching the stuff, but for some reason they act like hitting the subscriber button is a plague. And like as you sit here and you might get maybe 2 subscribers a week, 5 a month, 7 a month. You're watching these bigger channels just get larger and larger. Oh, last week that person was 22,000, now they're 23,000. This guy was 87,000, now he's 88,000. And you have all the same tired tropes written to you back and forth by people that never watch you. Oh, you should keep trying and slow and steady wins the race. But you know that you're just in this never-ending what feels to be a hamster wheel, while everybody else gets to grow and get bigger and accelerate at some pace that is clearly noticeable to both them and you as the viewer. And I ask, who wouldn't feel upset over that? And I don't feel upset over that because I just expect people to subscribe. Because like I said, we make these videos, we write scripts, we clearly put in some level of work that in a lot of cases is equatable to that of the much bigger channels. But because you don't have people endorsing you, promoting you, I guess some bigger friend to leech off of, you just sit here and stay in your little tight-knit, tiny, circular space while everyone else gets to get boosted. Like I said, I'm an honest person, and I'm not going to pretend that my low subscriber count doesn't infuriate me. And you have some people who will say you're not owed subscribers, and to that I would say sure, but people are not owed content. Like I said, this isn't my job. I don't get paid to do this. Everything I've done up to this point has entirely been because I felt like I had some unique thing to say about an issue or topic that I didn't hear other people addressing. And I just wish people could meet me halfway. Like, I know I've seen it where people will make 1 video or 2 videos and they'll get hundreds of subscribers. But for me, I'm supposed to be content with, here's a new video, it gets over 1,000 views. You might get 2 if you're lucky to click the red button. And I have to admit, people talk about do stuff for your own self-satisfaction, but we put out content online for people to watch it. We put it up for people to enjoy it or otherwise engage with it. And it's like, not only are you not getting any subscribers off of this damn near, but you're also not even getting any support. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had some recurring subscriber leave comments other than maybe 1 person or 2 people. So it's like I'm already not excited about subscribers from the standpoint of it still is less likely to mean more engagement, like people actually saying something about what I believe. Because we know that most subscribers don't watch most videos, they don't leave comments on most stuff. But then at the same time, it's like during one of the few periods where you would need them, they basically turn their back on you. They let you sit there at 100 and whatever, and then everybody else is going into the thousands and thousands. And you're like, what is this? Because you're not sitting here producing crap, otherwise they wouldn't watch it. So yeah, I'm very honest about the fact that I wish I had more subscribers. I wish people would stop giving me all this lip service about, oh, if you just keep trying, because it's not making a difference. It's extremely slow, and I've seen other people grow at much faster paces than this, sometimes getting just as few views or even less. I've got over 100,000 views. I know a person with the exact same amount. He's sitting at 900 subs. But I'm supposed to sit here and not get pissed when I try as hard as I can and am stuck in this little tiny rut. No matter how hard I work, just stuck in the same spot. But I'm supposed to believe that if you try hard enough, it makes a difference. Yeah, maybe in a fairy tale. But hey, look, I guess this is the type of stuff that people like. I'm not the one with 20,000 or 80,000 subscribers, so what do I know? It's just my opinion. Thanks for watching.